Everybody's heard about the Cockroach Janata Party and the protests that are happening right now in Delhi. But the problem is, this protest is not gonna solve a thing. It's just gonna waste human resources and time, both for the government and, for the protesters. But the reason why I say this is, ask yourself this: is this the first time this actually happened? 2021, there was that case. 2024, there was a NEET leak case. 2026, there was this case. And now you might say, Krishna, don't you think this is the reason why protests should happen? It's happening over and over and over again, and if we protest, probably we'll get some attention from the government, and then it won't happen. You're right about one thing. You will get a lot of attention from the government, but it's not like government doesn't know that these shit are happening like every year. Right? Since the dawn of the competitive exams, I can pretty much guarantee that every single year, the papers leak. Maybe one year the paper is expensive. Maybe another year only few people bought it. Maybe another year, a lot of people bought it and people get caught. That is the only difference. Every single year, paper gets leaked. It's not rocket science that, when there's a lot of people involved, leaks happen. It's just how many people get access to that information. And every year we go ahead, it gets easier and easier and easier. And now there's a bunch of people, Cockroach Janata Party, which recently came hyped up, and it took its right moment and then, put all its attention into this paper leak, thinking that a protest would actually, cause some stoppage in the paper leaks. Guess what? 2027, the paper's gonna leak again. But this time, it might be a bit expensive because last year, 2026, people got caught. That is the only difference that's gonna happen. And the solution these guys are offering, the protesters, the Cockroach Janata Party, or whatever these guys are asking the government to basically get the education minister fired, right? So they want the educational minister to just resign from the office. And now they're asking PM Modi to resign as well, which is a complete bullshit theory. And I'm not against the fact that you should be protesting against all these things. You should be protesting for sure. But the solution that you guys are offering, or whatever these guys are offering, is completely asinine. It's not gonna work. Just because this guy resigns, just because the educational minister is gonna resign, doesn't mean the chain is gonna break. Now, the reason why I say this is you need to understand the basis of how the papers even get to where they are, right? So let's just take NEET as an example, right? NEET. Now, the first step is from different professors, different big institute heads, veterans of the educational society. There's a bunch of people who actually prepare the question paper, right? Prepare question paper. Now, there's like maybe 50, 60, 100, 200, I don't know the number. Let's just say, for the sake of this example, let's say 10 papers, right? Now, these 10 papers are evaluated by another organization, another maybe government organization, and they decide which paper should come. Maybe 1, 2, 3 papers they're going to decide. And this is the step 2. Decide which paper. Now, from this point onwards, the papers get leaked, right? Once you decide which paper, or which set of paper, or 3 sets of paper, the papers can get leaked because it goes into the printing machine. The printing, this is the third step, where the papers get printed, and after the printing gets done, it will be transported to all the, the institutes, right? Transportation. Now, these 10, 20, 60 people, the veterans of the educational society, there's probably no way that papers get leaked in this step. Second step could be, because second step is basically the opening of which papers can actually come into the exam, right? So from second step, second, third, and fourth. So either from the paper decision to the printing to the transportation, papers get leaked. Now, how the fuck can the educational minister control all these variables? He cannot. And I'm not saying that this is not his fault. It is. It should be his responsibility to tighten the security in the printing, in the transportation, in the decision, whatever. It should be his responsibility. But it doesn't mean that just because he gets fired, it doesn't mean that the paper's leaking gonna stop. It's complete bullshit. Now, I don't know why you guys are just pissing over this guy and Modi. Modi has nothing to do with this. Although again, ultimately it's his responsibility to force educational minister to again increase the security in all of this. But what I'm trying to say is there are too many variables to put the blame on this guy. And even if you change this guy, it's not going to affect shit. It's probably going to get a lot quieter, you know? Now think about this. Do you think if the government wanted to, do you really think they're going to get the news out? I mean, 2026, the CBI or some investigation group actually found out the WhatsApp groups and all. Do you think they go to the fucking public as soon as they do that? No. They go to the education minister, they go to their higher officials, and then they make the decision to actually put out the news or not. It's not a singular decision. What could have been done is maybe the government should have silenced the entire situation and fucked the people who actually leaked the paper, and then make sure the security is good enough from the next year. Listen, what I'm trying to say is, if you're protesting, protest against something that's protestable. The problem that you're protesting against is not protestable. I just invented the word right now. But meaning, your solution to this problem of firing the education minister is not going to work, is not going to cause any less paper leaks. Maybe it's going to hike the price of buying the paper for maybe 1 or 2 years, and then it's going to come lower, and then it's going to be the same. There are always going to be sellers and there are always going to be buyers. So you just have to look hard enough. Now, this is my personal opinion. The only way you can actually kind of prevent it, not even prevent it, this is not preventable. The only way you could actually maybe reduce buying papers is, and for that, any illegal matter that is obtainable by the common people, is by making it seem impossible to get that. If you understand what I'm saying, you have to somehow convince the other guy or the common person like me, you have to convince me that, okay, don't even fucking try because you're not going to get it. You have to convince that. Now, I don't know how you're going to convince that. Maybe you're going to showcase the, transportation is going to be done in a fucking tank. Maybe the distribution is going to be done in the PM's office. Like, you have to make sure that, even if he's selling the paper, it must be fake. I don't want to risk 10 lakhs on a fake paper. It's like impossible to get. You have to convince the common person to actually reduce the paper leaks. Because if there's no buyers, the sellers will stop. The sellers will reduce. But as long as people have hope, people think that, okay, if I find hard enough, there might be some Telegram group, and if I send them 10 lakhs, I might get the paper. And boom, that's what happened on 2026, right? May 2026. So, yeah. I think that's the only solution. These protests and all this bullshit, it's just going to waste a lot of human resource and time, and you're going to get smacked by the police regardless, and it's just complete bullshit. I don't know why the fuck these guys, even do this. And again, let's be honest, you are going to the protest not because you give a fuck about the cause. Be honest to me. You and I both know that 90% of the reason why you want to go to such protests is these kind of protests get a lot of attention. You want a piece of attention. You want to showcase that in social media to your friends or to your buddies, whatever, that, okay, I was a part of this protest. That's it. And the remaining 10%, maybe you do really appreciate the cause. But I think by now you understand that the solution that you guys are offering won't fucking work anyway. So fuck this protest and stop wasting your time.